Yeah, it's on. DC here. Hi guys and gals. Well, it's going to be a little beer vlog. The beer I'm going to be looking at today is a Swiss beer called Boxer, and it's a blonde beer, so a lager. It's made from a medium-sized brewery, actually a rather small one, in the Canton of Vaud, if I remember correctly. Boxer, as you can see, well, it's the name of the dog as well, and the dog is always on their little bottles. These bottles are 250 milliliters. They're basically half the size of the cans here, but smaller than the standard bottle. Notice, by the way, the cap. So it's one of these rather special caps that predated the screw caps. Well, they just come off like that. Now, it's 5.2% alcohol for those who are wondering. Okay. I didn't purposely try to make any head here, but here we are. So it's a nice little lager color. Well, it's very refreshing. Oh, looky here, just started vlogging and they're doing works on the road over there. They were quiet for a while, so they've come back. So Tweetness has her lawnmowers and I've got roadworks or buses. Okay. Well, this is what I would call, a premium beer, in the sense is that we do have what we would almost call our Budweiser-like or Miller-like beers, which are nothing special. You can drink them, of course, but and this one is a nice one. They've got different, different types. They've got the dark ones as well, and I don't think they make anything like IPA. I mean, IPA is something I guess that came later on here, but in Switzerland they'll have like the dark ones, the dunkler, or dunkel, as they would actually say on here, and the pale ones. So there's a little bit of a bite to it. Nevertheless, it's not like it's not bland. Far from it. But it's not like, let's say, an IPA, which will bring out a whole bunch of flavors despite the tartness. Okay, on to the vlog part. Well, one thing amongst others, Boxer was reminding me of one of my uncles who turned 80 this year, and he always had Boxers. And I don't know, as a kid we always kind of thought that Boxers were going to be really mean or something like that because of the name. I don't know why, but they were always the friendliest little dogs. But we used to laugh because they always had these bob tails, at least his did. And for us kids to see a dog with no real tail was really strange. And already then, weren't we getting into stereotypes, weren't we? People have to be one way, dogs have to be another. Some families are dog families, some families are cat families, and every now and then some are both. We were a mixture for a while. Yeah. Sometimes you think about these things. There's a lot of noise, I'm sorry about that. Sometimes you think about these things, and yeah, you just kind of wonder what society was like. We always say society was better, easier going, and sometimes, though, nevertheless, when you start thinking about it, there was a lot of things like that. It was like, it has to be this way, it has to be that way. So with time, I don't know, I guess it was maybe gentler in a way, but was more things hidden. You've probably noticed I'm on the deck. Yep, here we are. Well, I will have some vlogs coming up from the period when Irene Tweetness and the Environsci were here. Just a quick show around. So there you are. Yeah, so it's nice. It's quite a bit of sun here in the afternoon. It's Friday afternoon, and I finished work early. Yeah. So what is happening this week? Well, first week back in work was at certain things was rather difficult. Not so much for the work stuff. Actually, that came in quite easily. I found it very difficult to cut off from the vacation period, to let go in a way of having Irene and Dave over for 3 weeks, and found it hard to let go, to see them go away. I mean, they're very good friends, and as you know, Irene and I on YouTube go back a way long ways and done a lot of things together. So it was hard for me to see her go, and so that this week, you know, there's a little period like that. I mean, where you have to get back into normal things. When I got back to work, though, one thing came up very quickly is that I got a mail from the group that I work with in Ireland, invited to a symposium and some meetings over there. So actually, I might end up being back, well, almost, unless something happens, I'll be back in Ireland in a couple weeks. So maybe a few more videos that will come from there, and still a lot of videos from, well, lots of videos from the 3 weeks with Irene, and then there'll be videos still coming from when I was visiting my parents. And sometime soon, with Mrs. DC, we'll be going off to the Black Forest. Yeah, a little vacation time on our own. Yeah, so that, looking forward to that. As I've mentioned, probably in some of the other videos, of course, in those 3 weeks, haven't been very much online. Almost kind of an internet fast. For those of you who do that every now and then, I mean, be it internet fast or any type of fasting, it is at first a strange experience. I mean, I didn't make what we call almost a total fast, put it that way. I was on Facebook a little bit, looking at what things were going on, but very quickly you feel overwhelmed by the feeling that you're missing out on a lot of things. And I guess that is one of the things about fasting, is, one would say, setting your priorities, or realizing if your priorities are right or wrong. Well, I wouldn't go so far as saying in that respect that priorities were wrong. On the contrary, if anything, I noticed that, yeah, it did do some good to take some time and do other stuff. That is always good. But I mean, I'm not, as far as being an internet or YouTube junkie, I guess that the thing is, I actually watch relatively few people overall now, but I felt I was missing out on them and what were they doing in their everyday life and so on. So it was, yeah, maybe that was it. Of course, distance, they always say, makes the heart go out. Or I don't remember the expression anymore, but you know, there maybe is something to that. But what one always finds out, at least I do when we have trips, visits, and so on, is the intensity of relationships when you're close up to people, and how quickly that you feel for a person, for persons, and when they're gone, how strong that feeling comes back. So that's a big thing about a trip. I mean, I felt that like when I went over to Canada to see my parents and leaving and coming back here. I feeling that like when our very good KC friends and my very good best friend over there went back home. I feel that when I come home here after a trip and seeing Mrs. DC's and the boys. So this, as the Germans would say, this hin und her, is something that's very good to learn to appreciate people and the intensity of your emotions for them. Yeah. So is that part of fasting? It is in a way, isn't it? You can fast, you can overindulge, but when you always go back to the other one, the other way of living, you do see what was too much or what was missing in a relationship. It seems to me, at least. Okay, kind of a beer-based philosophy on a beer vlog. I'll stop there. DC signing off. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.